It's taco night, so I thought I'd teach you how to make homemade tortillas. Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. This is Kevin. Well, one of the things that we decided to give up when we started to try to decrease the things we buy from the store is tortillas. Now there are several reasons we did that. One thing is that we can make them a lot cheaper at home. The other thing is we've really given up eating any wheat products that aren't organic. Now we're not 100% organic in everything that we do, but wheat is one of those things that we've really taken a pretty hard stance on, just because after learning about the way that they dry the wheat or get it to dry just before they harvest it, which is basically to either fly over or go through the field with some type of tractor or something, and they spray the entire crop with Roundup or glyphosate just before harvest. They do this so that all the wheat will die at the same time. It'll all dry, and then they can all be harvested at the same time. Now, even though there's no GMO wheat, they spray that heavily with glyphosate just before harvest, and then grind it up and sell it in the store as flour. That doesn't sit well with us. So we've given up eating any non-organic wheat products. So today I'm going to teach you how to make organic flour tortillas at home. It's super easy. There's 4 ingredients and you're going to love them. So the first thing we're going to use is some organic all-purpose flour. Now I do have to say also, where we live here in rural Missouri, we really can't find organic tortillas in the store, which is another reason to make your own. So these are really easy to make. We're going to just use 2 cups of organic flour. And you can use whole wheat flour. I like the organic all-purpose flour. It just makes them a lot, more flexible and easy to wrap into either burritos or tacos. So tonight we're having soft tacos. So again, 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt, and we use pink Himalayan salt. We actually buy this in bulk on Amazon. I'll leave a link in our Amazon shop, but we get the fine ground, so it's similar to table salt. And we buy this, I think, at 10 pounds at a time, and it's a really great deal if you buy in bulk. So buy it, once or twice a year, and that's it. But so 1/2 of a teaspoon of the pink Himalayan salt. Now I'll leave a link, or I'll leave the recipe in the description as well, so you don't need to remember it right now. But really, again, it's baking powder, flour, salt, and then you're just going to whisk that all together until you make sure it's all mixed evenly. Now another reason that I like this version of tortillas, and I know it may not be quite as authentic, when we lived in Arizona, we were able to get some very authentic, good tortillas. There's a large Hispanic population there, and we kind of got spoiled on Mexican food, but most of the time tortilla recipes use lard. And we're not opposed to using lard. We like lard, but this recipe actually uses butter instead of lard. And the only reason I like that better is because we always have butter in the house. We don't always have lard, but we always have butter, and it just makes it something that I know I'm going to always have these ingredients, which is why I like this recipe. So you're going to use a tablespoon of butter. You want to make sure that it's softened. You're going to put that in with your flour, and then you're going to mix that really well into the flour. I like to use a fork so you can kind of cut it into little pieces, but you mix this around so you make sure it's evenly distributed, and it kind of makes the flour, I don't know, almost the consistency of like cornmeal once you know that it's good and mixed in. So this takes a few minutes. I'm not going to make you watch me mix this the whole time, but you want to mix that again until it's almost makes the flour look a little crumbly. So let me do this for a few minutes and we'll be right back. Okay, so I've got that all mixed together. Now we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of warm water. And we're just going to mix that together until it forms a dough. And I like to start mixing with a spoon, a wooden spoon, but there's no better way to mix things than to just get in there with your hands and really make sure you're getting it thoroughly mixed. If it feels like you need a little bit more water, go ahead, but don't be too quick to add more water. You want to work it for a little while first and make sure and see if you can get that all incorporated. It's going to be not a real stiff dough, but a little on the stiff side. Not as much as when we made those bagels a couple weeks ago. If you haven't seen the video, I'll be making homemade bagels. Another super easy recipe. I'll leave it a link to that video up here. So this looks like it could use just a tad bit more water. When I'm adding more water to a dough, I never pour it like from a measuring cup or something. What I do is I just go wet my hand and then go back, because you only need a tiny bit more. So just a little bit more water on your hand is usually enough to get the rest of that all worked in, and that's perfect. Alright, once you have everything worked together into your dough ball here, you're going to put it onto a floured board. I have my trusty kneading board here. This is just a piece of oak board that I bought a long time ago, but kneading boards, the more you use them, the better they get. That flour kind of gets in, and then everything, nothing sticks to them anymore. So you're going to knead this for 1 minute, and then we're going to cut it into pieces. Alright, so we've kneaded this for 1 minute. Now we're going to cut this into 10 equal pieces, or as close as you can get. Alright, so I'm going to cut it in half. There we go. And just roll them into balls. And then we need to, after we get these all cut and made into balls, we need to let these rest. Just cover them with a towel and let them rest for 15 minutes. So we'll do that, and we'll be back in a little bit. Alright, it's been 15 minutes. The dough has been resting here, and you'll see they don't really change. It's not like a yeast dough where it's going to rise or something like that. You just want them to rest. Then what I like to do is just smoosh them a little bit with my fingers. I'm going to get them started. And you want to make sure, again, that your board here is floured. There shouldn't be any stickiness to the dough at this point. And then you're just going to use a rolling pin and start rolling them out. And you'll get better at this with practice. I'm not great at it, but I'm okay. And you want to roll these to about 8 or 9 inches in diameter. Now normally when we make these, I'll be the one who rolls them out, and then Sarah will be over at the stove doing the cooking. But today, she's running the camera. So I'm doing both. At least for a little while. So that's about it. That's about the size that you want. Now you want to have your pan on the stove heating up to a medium heat. I actually forgot to do that, so I'm going to go do it right now. Alright, the pan's heated up. Let's take our tortilla over. Now, if you have a nice cast iron skillet, I recommend that that's what you use. They heat so evenly and they work really well for this. If you don't though, no problem. Just use whatever you have. You know, you don't want anything on the skillet. No oil or anything like that. Just a dry skillet. And you're going to put these in again at a medium heat You're going to do about a minute on each side, but you'll just kind of judge. They'll get a little bubbly, a little bit brown, but you don't want to burn them. So about a minute on each side. Now, one thing that I've learned after making these quite a bit is that I start on a medium heat, but the pan seems to get too hot toward the end, so I kind of gradually work my way down the more I make. So by the end, I'm almost on a low, but that's, again, part of using a cast iron skillet is that it retains so much heat and it seems to heat up more. So you'll just need to judge based on what you're using. So you can see there's starting to be some bubbles here, and the best way to tell if it's ready to flip is just to flip it. This one needs a little bit more. I don't see any brown on that side yet, so I'm going to just leave it like that, and we're going to let that sit for just another maybe 15 seconds or so. Okay, well, this one's ready to flip. Perfect. Look at that. You can see just a little bit of brown on there. That's exactly what you want. Now you're going to do the same on this side. Usually the second side doesn't take quite as long, so just kind of keep an eye on it. And again, like anything, the more times you do it, the better you'll get at it. And you know what? Even if they don't turn out perfect, they're still awesome because you're making them at home and you didn't have to go to the store to buy them. I'm going to finish these up and then we'll show you what they all look like when we're done. Alright, look at that. They're all done. I ended up making a double batch. I rolled, Sarah pan fried them, and they look and smell amazing. These are going to be awesome for our tacos tonight. We're going to have venison tacos. So this is really a great homemade meal. Homemade tortillas, venison from a deer that I shot during deer season, and I know we're not supposed to be boastful, but I went up to the greenhouse while we were letting these rise, and I cut this lettuce from our raised bed that's in the greenhouse. Look at that beautiful lettuce. We're going to chop that up. We're going to have some homemade salsa that we canned from last summer. Man, this is going to be a great meal. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed learning how to make these tortillas. They're so easy, you need to give them a try. If this is your first time here, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And if you're one of our traditionalists who comes back every day, I thank you guys so much. I hope you give this recipe a try. And until next time, thanks for stopping by the homestead. Take care, and God bless.